So, also we got to remember we have to talk about our energy carriers, and in this case, we're going to create two NADH. Now, the acetyl CoA is now going to move. Still, we are within our mitochondrial matrix, but we're moving to a different cycle, the citric acid cycle or the Krebs cycle. Now, this has many or multiple chemical reactions, but today we are going to focus on the end result of this cycle, which is the complete usage of all the carbon from that glucose molecule. As mentioned, that carbon flow chart. Now, I'll write it later on, but during the Krebs cycle here, Krebs cycle, there was only going to be the 2-acetyl CoA will be transformed into two molecules of CO2. So these two molecules of CO2 have left, and these two molecules of CO2 will leave the cell also. Oh, my correction, I'm sorry. My math would not be right if we said 2. This is 4 molecules of CO2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, overall, the end result of the citric acid cycle or the Krebs cycle would be the formation of 2 ATPs, 6 NADH, and a new one for us to add on to our list of carriers. 2 forms of FADH2, and as we mentioned before and shown on the previous page, 4 molecules of CO2. So next we do the oxidative phosphorylation. In this process, there is broken down into 2 steps. First, the electron transport chain. Now, recall, we have all those energy carriers, and they carry energy in the form of electrons. So if you go back through the entire process that we've gone through so far, we have produced 10 NADH and 2 FADH2. Now this process is taking place also in the mitochondria matrix, or not the matrix, but the inner membrane of the mitochondria. Now, just to reiterate, these energy carriers have left the matrix and went into the intermembrane of the mitochondria. Now, these electrons are being passed through various parts of the inner membrane, and in this process, hydrogen plus ions are being built up in the intermembrane. So, just say we got the membrane, and this is a very skewed drawing of the membrane. Got different steps. You have the electrons being passed through over and over again. Now, these hydrogen plus ions that are being built up in the intermembrane, now these are going to go through a phase called meiosis, and they're going to connect to the final electron acceptor, which will be oxygen. Oops, sorry. Which will be oxygen. And in the process, we'll create H2O. Now, this is a very important step, because also during the meiosis phase, we are going to get my ATP notes. That's it. Now, through this flow also of hydrogen plus ions, it'll help in the process of making ATP, which is very important. Now, the bulk of our ATP is made in this process through the help of catalysts in the form of enzymes to make a total of 32 to 34 ATP. Now, that with a combination of the ATP that we created earlier, we get a grand total of 36 to 38 ATP through the overall process of cellular respiration.